Hi, we're here at the Start Village for the Route de Rhum in St Malo. We just thought we'd fill you in a bit on the activities that go on in the week of preparation before a race. So before we came out, I just showed you a bit about the spares that we're putting on board, and then today I thought we'd just talk a little bit about the safety inspection and the grab bag and the various other safety things that Pip has on board. So these races are run very well. The safety standards are pretty rigorous, both from a class point of view, offshore sailing, and also then the organisation. So we have this document which is a safety checklist, which is about 4 pages long. But it's basically got 3 rules covered. So you've got notice of race, which is race management, the actual IMOCA class rule, and then the offshore safety regs, which apply to all boats racing offshore. But obviously we're Cat 1 for this race. So what these guys, so before we come out here, I tried to make sure that the boat, I mean, this is our 3rd race of the year, so we're pretty good on it. But things move, and if the crew changes, we take various pieces off. So before we came out here, we did a first sort of internal scrutineering, and now 2 days ago we had the FFWA, which is the French regulators, come in, and they go through everything on this list. So one item that is particularly critical is the grab bag, which I can show you now. So here we have the grab bag, which by regulation has to stay within 1.5 meters of the main hatch in case something happens and the skipper can't get below. They can just grab that through the hatch. Typical scenario is PRB in the last race where the boat broke in 2. Kevin had mere seconds really, and in fact back in the day last Bondi, these were sealed in place so you couldn't stack it for a performance advantage, but in fact he couldn't get it out because it was sealed in place in time, so he had to leave the boat without the grab bag, which is unfortunate, as nearly everything you need is in the grab bag. So there is a list of stuff that we put in there. We added a bit of stuff ourselves, so we've got an extra personal locator beacon on the outside here, tied on, and we also have the main one of 2 406 beacons in here, which is the sort of the main rescue beacon. So what else do we have? We've got a SART, which basically amplifies your position on a radar, so it makes you bigger than you are on a radar screen, allowing a ship to find you very accurately. The problem with the EPIRB system is that it's delayed, with the 406 it's delayed 15 minutes, so by the time the signal's gone back to land and then they've spoken to a ship or something, you've probably moved quite a long way. The beauty of this thing is that actually once someone's on site to rescue you, they can get to you, they'll find your position really, really accurately and quickly. We've got a handheld VHF for the same instance really, so if you've got a helicopter, aircraft or another boat near you, you can speak to them on VHF. We've got a handheld Iridium with a spare battery, which is probably, other than the EPIRB, that would probably be the second thing that Pip would turn to, depending on whatever the drama, however it unfolds. But in here are preloaded my number, the race management number, Falmouth Coast Guard, the French Coast Guard. So sometimes I get a phone call from this phone if there's a problem with the main phone, which obviously gives me the heebie-jeebies a bit when I'm at home during a race. What else have we got? So yeah, the 406 EPIRB, so this is the main sort of global positioning sort of alert system. Got some emergency food, which is disgusting. It's basically just calories, but if they're out there for a long time. We've got a spare handheld GPS so she can report her position if she's drifting around a life raft. We've got a head torch because probably these things generally happen at night. What else? Then sort of going down the tech, we've got a variety. We've got flares have cut down massively. We hardly have any on board now because of so much other tech, but we've got 2 orange smoke and 4 red hand flares. Got some good old snap glow sticks, which are good at night and help illuminate stuff. Got fluorescein, which is like a sea dye, which is actually really good for daytime. If you pour that into the sea, it makes the sea orange around you, which is good for aircraft that's trying to spot you. And then a foil survival blanket. So if you're going to abandon ship, or the boat is, catastrophically damaged and Pip's sort of stuck in the cockpit or something, she'd make sure she gets this as quickly as she can. Obviously, we've got 2 life rafts on board. We've got an external life raft, which I'll show you in a bit. and we've got a smaller life raft inside, which she would use if the boat turned upside down and she had to escape through the back hatch. One of their different specs. One of them is a sort of massively sort of spec'd offshore ocean life raft. The other is less so. But again, inside of those, you've got first aid kits, you know, other survival equipment. So now we're outside. You can see where the main sort of SOLAS big life raft is stored. So that lives here. It does weigh something like 50 kgs, so that's quite a large lump for Pip to carry if she needed to, but that's kind of as light as they come. And then just after that, we've got the John Boy man overboard system, which isn't particularly relevant when Pip's on there on her own, but we have to carry it anyway. She could be having to take the boat to go and rescue someone that's in the water, in which case she could fire that off really easily, and then they're pretty much, if they can climb into that, they're safe and she can see them pretty well. And then under there, we've just got a traditional life buoy with a light and sea marker. Again, it's not for her, obviously she's on her own, but if she has to go and rescue someone else, then she can use those to help rescue them. Back inside the boat, the bits are sort of spread around because, as I say, you never quite know how the incident's going to unfold. But if we just look up here, we've got our other main 406 beacon, which again, if she's down below or on deck, she can get to that pretty quickly. And there are other bits, but that is the main elements that we have on the boat. And as I say, so these are rigorously checked through the checking process, so they'll make sure they've got the correct ID numbers for all of the EPIRBs, all of the AIS beacons. They've got all the phone numbers. We'll phone them out on all of our phones. They will phone back to the boat. We'll do a VHF check. They will, just go through everything we've got basically, and they're very rigorous and professional about it, so you can't really get around any of it. But yeah, that's pretty much what we've been up to on the safety front.